in the Gulf. Off the coast of Mexico to the southwest of Acapulco, well, that depression has developed into a tropical storm, and the name is Barbara. Let's focus, though, on the Gulf of Mexico. And this has been undergoing a lot of shear today. And I think, though, the remarkable thing about it is that it's managed to stay together somewhat, even in spite of that. And we expect some of this shear to be gone tomorrow because this upper trough is going to be moving on out. So what we believe might happen is we might begin to see this get a bit better organized tomorrow. Now, it's not going to move very fast. It's going to be a very, very slow movement, we think, even for the next 24 hours and very likely for 48 hours. And this means that on up here in the northern Gulf, you're not going to have to worry about it Saturday or very likely even Sunday. Let's look at the particulars. This based on the new advisory just out of the Hurricane Center. The depression is centered 300 miles east-southeast of Tampico, Mexico. Winds down just a bit, down to 30 miles an hour, and it's just about stationary. Centered at 20.5 and about 93.5. I would point out, though, in spite of the fact that this only has sustained winds of 35 miles an hour, down at Veracruz, which is about 175 miles south of the center, it has been gusting in the 40 to 50 mile an hour range throughout the afternoon. Let's go ahead and put into motion here just briefly for you and show you what the motion has been. And you'll notice one thing, the thunderstorms near the center have sort of diminished quite a bit during the day. That's an indication of the shear that we're speaking about. But they do seem to be building up again just a little bit right near the center. So we're going to be watching this very carefully, and I know that you're going to want to do that too. Now let's go out and look at that depression, and here it is, and here's the latest on that. Top wind 50 miles an hour. It is moving toward the northwest at 3. It's expected to move just about parallel to the coast. On out in the Caribbean Sea, not anything to worry about, a few clouds east of Costa Rica, and that's about it. Now here is Charlie Welsh, and he has the weekend outlook for you, sir.
The 36-hour forecast. Weather information here on the Weather Channel. Detailing in yellow and orange and red where heavy thunderstorms are to be found in eastern U.S. and they are gaining steam now along the Mason-Dixon line back toward Baltimore and Washington. Secondary line of thunderstorms more widely scattered, but they do extend from Montana all the way back down into parts of New Mexico. This is a look out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, centered on Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, showing the rain now working into around Easton and into Bethlehem and back on over to Allentown, just around the Harrisburg area, all the way back to Pittsburgh, south through West Virginia. Heaviest thunderstorms moving in now on Norfolk. They are moving to the northeast at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. And here's a look to the south at the big thunderstorms in Florida.
Southeast from Norfolk till about 10 p.m., Central Florida till 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Montana and parts of Wyoming until 9 p.m. And we'll take one last look at the National Radar Scope, showing you some very heavy thunderstorms in the Carolinas to Florida. And now it's...
That's right. In Pennsylvania, you've had kind of a rough time in some areas. We'll show you that coming up. First of all, we'll take a look at the big picture and show you what we've got coast to coast. First of all, with the satellite review. And into parts of the Pacific Northwest, we are seeing a little bit of some unsettled weather work its way in. Some light rain around Olympia, Washington, and you may expect that to continue throughout the course of the evening. High and dry down toward the south. Boy, warm temperatures really heating you up there. A thermal low firmly entrenched, giving you very hot air down there, but it's kind of cool and muggy into parts of the east. A lot of rain, as Tom was telling you about. Here's how the current map shapes up. Rain now getting into some sections of Pennsylvania, throughout New Jersey. And we expect it to move into the northeast as time goes on tonight. Very heavy amounts of rain over the past 24 hours from Alabama over toward Georgia. Now moving into the Carolinas, where we do see some severe weather start to pop up now. Into Pennsylvania we go. We'll show you some of the cleanup efforts in the city of Lancaster and show you what it's been. Now, kind of a rough time for the folks there, residents in Lancaster.
A couple of hours as well as Montana. We've been focusing mainly on the east the past few days because we've had a ton of moisture coming up from the Gulf interacting with an approaching front. You can see some very heavy thunderstorms in the southeast. And we'll focus in on the mid-Atlantic region, some big storms entering Norfolk, Virginia, and around Washington, D.C., some lighter rains, but we had quite a bit of damage there on Wednesday when the first round of thunderstorms came through the D.C. area, and we had another round of thunderstorms later. And the utility crews are out trying to restore power. Of course, downed trees can be the big culprit when it comes to losing power from these thunderstorms, and that's what happened there in D.C. Fortunately, today you missed the severe weather, just some light showers around, and we may see some slight improvement in the weather as we move into the new week. Certainly some rain around there. Severe thunderstorm watch till 9 p.m. in the areas shaded in yellow. This is mountain time, Montana and Wyoming, down into Florida. Some big storms here, and we've already seen them right just to the north of Tampa. This one in effect till 10 p.m. Then from around Norfolk, Virginia, right up to the Big Apple, looks like severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. You can see all the clouds throughout the southeastern portion of the country, and swinging on into the northeast. Rochester, New York missed the storms again for the second day in a row, so it looks like the U.S. Open was played under some very, at least, palatable conditions there. Now let's take a look at some of our local conditions.
The east, some powerful thunderstorms still moving from parts of Georgia and the panhandle of Florida all the way up along the eastern seaboard, Carolinas, and some areas you need to watch out and be careful tonight. A lot of heavy rain, gusty winds, possible hail, and even possible tornadic activity. Back into the middle Atlantic states, soaking of rain there. Good news for you as far as the drought is concerned, but bad news if you're planning on doing any traveling. Also out toward the west, an area of low pressure, sparking off some thunder showers around Denver, Colorado, 47,000-foot tops. And also that's the case into Trinidad in Colorado. 2 radar stops for us. Into the east we go, and we'll take you into Charlotte, North Carolina, where you are reporting some heavy thunder showers at the moment. Up toward Greensboro, we're also seeing some thunder showers. Also back into some sections of South Carolina from Greenville, Spartanburg, all the way down toward Florence in South Carolina. Continuing to see the showers and the thunderstorms. This moves off to the northeast. Tucson River in Maryland, also thunderstorms. New front getting organized, kicking out into the plains will spawn some more severe weather later on tonight in the midsection of the country. Until 10 o'clock, please be wary and be prepared for severe weather. That does include sections of Virginia and on up the eastern seaboard until 10 o'clock. Central Florida, you may see some large damaging hail as well as heavy downpours of rain until 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And from Texas north into Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas, another severe thunderstorm watch in effect with that new system that we'll be focusing our attention on later on tomorrow. Tonight and tomorrow, actually throughout the day tomorrow, 3 inches of rain possible along the eastern seaboard, so heavy downpours and flash flooding definitely in the offing. Tomorrow afternoon, we think that front will move on out and things will not be quite as bad along the eastern half of the United States, but we'll focus our attention on the midsection of the country with the upper level low moving out into the plains and plenty of moisture, believe it or not, already in place, ready for those severe storms to start in North Dakota south into Oklahoma and parts of Texas. The west will remain dry. A tropical update is next after your local conditions.
Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
Board still firing up from Virginia through North Carolina towards central sections of Florida. We have a number of severe thunderstorm warnings and watches in effect. You can see the extensive coverage of rain from the northeast, the mid-Atlantic states, through Baltimore, Salisbury, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, all reporting rain right now. And the rain continues throughout the southeast through central Georgia on into central sections of Florida with big thunderstorms. We have a couple of action radars to take you back to the north into Atlantic City, New Jersey, showing you the rain moving through Philadelphia, a line of showers actually, a second batch moving away from Baltimore towards the Delmarva, and it looks like D.C., Philadelphia, and Atlantic City, New Jersey, as well as New York City under, well, what we can see